Recently there's been a little bit of a craze on YouTube amongst the amateur radio channels. Everyone seems to be raving about these mobile whips, these Hamsticks, which everyone seems to think they're really good. So these are cheap as well. This one's for 80 meters. It comes in two sections. So this is the base section, which includes a loading coil, and then you've got your whip section that goes on top. Now this is actually taller than the ceiling in this room, so I'm going to have to assemble this outside. But if you look on the end here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, you can just about see a black mark where my thumb is. That comes marked as standard from the factory, and that gets you roughly about the middle of the band. But about on this particular 80 meter one, it was about 3.6 something, 3,650, something like that. It was resonant at. There's another mark here which I put on, which is further up the band into the SSB portion, about 3.7. I've marked that out. And down the bottom here, one for data. Now this whip isn't quite long enough, so you get a slightly high SWR, but I can tune that out with an antenna tuner, so it's not the end of the world. It's you get a little bit of loss in the feeder cable, but it shouldn't be that much. And here I've got an old mag mount. Now, at the time of filming this in the UK, we are technically supposed to be under lockdown, so I'm not going to take this out in the car. What I want to do though is I want to compare it to my end-fed half-wave, just to see what the difference in signal strength is. So I've got a metal shed out in the garden, so I'm actually going to stick this Ampro Hamstick on top of the shed. I'm going to run Whisper for about, I'll give it about 15 minutes, half hour on the Hamstick, and then I'll switch it over onto my end-fed half-wave. Now, I know this isn't a fair test. These Hamsticks are compromised, and I would expect the end-fed half-wave to run circles around it. It's not a fair comparison, but I'm just curious to see how much of a compromise these Hamsticks are. So I'm looking for relative signal strengths between the two antennas. So we know the end-fed half-wave is going to do better. It's pretty much a given, but I want to see how much better. Behind the shed there's the 49:1 transformer from my end-fed half-wave. You can see there I've unplugged it, and here's the feeder cable. I've literally just connected that into my mag mount, and the mag mount has got the Hamstick on the roof of the shed. So let's go and whisper test it and see what happens. Now, I could have edited this bit out and nobody would have been any the wiser, but the reality of the situation is we're all human, we all make mistakes, we all do stupid things sometimes. And this is actually a really good demonstration of what happens when you rely on automation. So I was running my radio on JS8 earlier today, and then I went over to Whisper to test this mag mount and the end-fed half-wave. I've spent the last 20 minutes looking at my screen at the Whisper reports and thinking, why am I not getting any reports back? I've got used to my rig having cat control and automatically changing frequency. This radio isn't connected up with cat control, so you have to set the frequency manually. So I've spent the last 20 minutes broadcasting Whisper signals on the JS8 call channel and probably annoying an awful lot of people. So I've now put the radio on the correct channel, and surprise surprise, I'm starting to make contacts. Results time then. What can we conclude? Well, I've looked carefully at the plots from both antennas, and actually, surprisingly, there isn't all that much difference. I was actually quite surprised how well the Hamstick did. Now, I will say the Hamstick is a compromise antenna. It's a heavy compromise. It's very, very short for 80 meters. So you're losing some efficiency there. And you've also got quite a big or quite a long loading coil on it as well to make it resonant and give you a reasonable SWR. So you're going to lose quite a bit of your RF power in heat in the coil as well, which is going to reduce your efficiency even further. So the Hamstick was always going to lose this battle. It wasn't a fair test, we know that. But looking at the actual signal report strengths on Whisper, the Hamstick was only about 2, 3, 4 dBs down on average to the end-fed half wave. So it wasn't as marked as I thought. The end-fed half wave got more spots. There were about, I think it was about 30 on the Hamstick and about 40 to 50 on the end-fed half wave. Now, I also have got a couple of friends who use JS8, and you can send a signal report request, and it'll give you a signal strength back. So I did that, and I did 2 stations. Then on average, the Hamstick was about 10 dBs down both ways. So, as I said, you know, the Hamstick was always going to lose this battle. It wasn't a fair contest, and it's also not particularly scientific, this test, because I ran each antenna for 20 minutes. I did the Hamstick first, then there was about a 10-15 minute break whilst I switched the antennas round, and did another 20 minutes on the end-fed half wave. So the entire test happened over the period of about an hour. So in that hour period, conditions could have changed. So it's not the most scientific test, and it's not the fairest. And yes, the end-fed half wave did beat the Hamstick, which, you know, hardly revolutionary really. It's, you know, it's what we expected. But I didn't expect the Hamstick to do as well as it did. So for 80 meters, it's a very narrow bandwidth. You'll only get a few kilohertz, and then you'll end up retuning it. If you've got a tuner on your radio, you can extend that. But ultimately, on 80 meters, this Hamstick did a lot better than I thought it would do. Thank you for watching. If you like what I do, please click the thumbs up button. It lets me know that I'm heading in the right direction with the channel and gives me the confidence to keep doing what I'm doing. Don't forget to click the subscribe and also the bell button to be notified when I upload new content. If you don't like what I'm doing, feel free to click the thumbs down button. Just tell me why in the comments below. I welcome your feedback, and constructive criticism will help me to improve the channel. Take care, and I hope you will catch me in the next video.